Hey there. Today we're going to be looking at alternators. Like I usually say, alternators. The alternator is the major component in the charging system. It's responsible for charging the battery and supplying electrical um, current, so electrical power to other components in the vehicle. So we're gonna examine the alternator, just do a general review. In this video we're not going to be dealing on repairing the alternator. We're just going to show you the connection, it's connected to the for our power is transferred from the battery down to the alternator, and from the alternator down to the various electrical components. We're just going to do a general review. I'm going to show you how an alternator look like, the various parts, the exterior view of the alternator, and but in further class we'll talk about repairing and testing of alternator. We're going to deal with those, so stay back. But before we go to the vehicle to check them out, firstly I'm just going to lay some relevant theory. Number one, the alternator has a rotor, a stator, and the alternator has a rotor and a stator. Now, the rotor, like we know from our physics, we understand electromagnetic induction. So you need a rotating axis and a static one for you to generate power. I will advise you to read the reference material I sent to the lesson. You will understand all this basic theory. Now let's go straight to the practical. So okay, this is the alternator of an Audi 1998 model. As you can see, you see around the alternator, you see the beds, the pulley that is attached to the rotor. That is what causes the rotation to the starter. You can see behind, you see the connection, the cable. That is the one with the nut, that is fixed with a nut. That is the cable that comes from the battery down to the alternator. If we are going to trace it, that cable tied with the nut, trace it down, although it's kind of tight down there, you'll be able to trace it down from here down to the down through those pipes, those components. It passed through those components and went down to the battery. You may not be able to see it because the way the car was quite designed, but if you trace it down from that positive terminal of the battery, traced it down. Sorry, this video we are not having enough light, so I had to use external light to view it. So when you trace it down, you find out that from this positive terminal down through under those NGU, it comes and leads us back to this alternator. Like I said in the other videos that we deal on batteries, the connection power comes from the alternator to the battery. Now let's check another vehicle. Now checking this ML TV20 1998 model. So let's trace this connection down to the alternator. Let's start on this forwarder connection. You see this cable, the black one with a casing. You trace it down. Let's just keep following that cable. You see it, it's still going down. That's the same cable close. So that, yes, as you can see, when you look closely, we move slowly down. You see it's going to fix at the base of the alternator. You see that plastic, that is the alternator. So it's connected directly to the alternator. So you can see it here is a better example for it. So we see that power comes from the battery down to the alternator. So let's look at it from the front view whether we can see the connection. Yeah, I know you have seen it. Pardon the lighting of this video, but when you come to the front view, you see the alternator here. This is the alternator. These are the pulley, the beds, and every other thing. So when you trace it backwards, you can see the connection. I made this record. I fixed the audio moment after the video because it was quite noisy. So we have been able to see alternator in two different vehicles. Now, this is an alternator. This one, we removed it from a vehicle, and this alternator, like I've removed all the nuts from those parts. So those were the nuts that held it. So after removing the nuts from those TV bolts, you can see there, those are 10mm or 8mm. Now then this other bolt that comes at, okay, yeah, let's see what we have here. You see it's rotating. That's the brush. This is the brush. That white plastic written Valor on top. Valor is the name of the producer, so the manufacturer of this type of alternator. Okay, you see, I want to just open that so that you can see some of the interior components of the alternators. In another video, we are going to look carefully when we are going to start videos on how to fix an alternator, how to repair it. We are going to look at each of these components and explain their function and how you fix them. But for this video, it's just limited to introducing this component and its connection in the vehicle. Now, you see this alternator. You saw the brushes. Other video, we are going to explain those carefully. Now, let's look at the pulley. If you look at this is the pulley. This pulley is what is attached to the bed from the engine crankshaft. This pulley is what turns that cause the generation of electric charge, because once the rotor rotates around the stator, it's generated electric charge. So for more of that, you can read our reference material. It will explain those theory for you. There's usually a bolt that or a nut that usually fits this together. As you can see, we are going to also look at other stuff about the alternator in our next video. Now let's look at the inside of the alternator. You're going to see what is inside, the armature, the windings. Let me just get a better view of it so that we can see the windings, because okay, I think you can see the windings made up of various copper windings inside the alternator. I think let's turn it over and get a better view of the interior of the alternator. So you can see, okay, now this is the alternator. Like I usually said, the alternator generates at least 2 volts higher than regular voltage requirement of the vehicle, which is 14 volts. This is to enable, because the alternator may not produce steady current at most time, but to enable it to power the component. Now, as you can see, this is the windings, the interior part of it. I'm not going to be disassembling this alternator for today's lesson now, but in other lessons we're going to disassemble it and check its interiors. Thank you.